How to prepare a Forex watch list. In this video, I'm going to show you how I prepare my Forex watch list for the week ahead, and let me know if this helps you in the comment section down below. So, what key components do I feel are necessary for a Forex watch list? Now, the first one is obviously news. Fundamentals is what provides the volume and the volatility within the market. You'll notice that around high impact news data events, the markets can move quite a lot. So that is something that we need to take into consideration. Now, do I personally want to trade around large news events? No. Usually algorithms are in the markets trading those large scale news events. So I don't particularly want to take part in that. But let's say dollars on my watch list for long opportunities, but I have an FOMC announcement on the Wednesday. Do I really want to be getting involved with dollar on Wednesday? No. Okay. Next, I like to use strength and weakness analysis. This comes in different ways, which I'll show you throughout the video. And then finally, we'll go through conditions of the market. So let's kick it off with the news then. So the news or some sites that I regularly look at are just listed here. You've got Forex Factory for the economic calendar. I use investing.com's economic calendar as well. I actually find when you're looking at data releases, investing.com's calendar is a lot faster than Forex Factory's. I only use Forex Factory, which you'll see if you're familiar with my week ahead analysis videos. This is what I post, and I do that because the format of it is very simple, very easy to read, whereas investing.com, there's a lot more information there. So if you're looking for a little bit deeper of fundamentals and looking for fast releases, investing.com is definitely the one. I then use Trades in Economics as well. I look at the sort of data in the country's economies. I look at GDP data, inflation rates, things like that over at Trades in Economics. So this is an example of what we've got coming up for, or what we had coming up for this week. So this is what I would be kind of outlining in upcoming news events in my watch list. I'd be looking at when these news events are coming out, if that's going to affect a particular market. Now, some things that you need to look for, I've just kind of listed here. Central bank decisions and speeches, CPI data, GDP data, services and manufacturing PMIs, obviously non-farm payroll. The employment data out in the US is very, very big, and that is going to impact the markets and retail sales as well. So they're kind of the main sort of high impact figure data that you need to kind of consider when looking at the market for the news ahead. But essentially, all I look at this for is what is going to be the driver. Where are we going to see some volatility in volume in terms of currency? So I can see that CPI year on year coming out in Australia could be fairly big for the Australian dollar. Do I want to hold a position overnight on the Australian dollar? Maybe not, but could that also drive the Australian dollar into key levels that I'm looking at? Maybe I'm looking at Aussie pound or something, or Aussie Swiss as for trading opportunities. Going on to strength and weakness analysis then, I think there's multiple ways you can do this. My favorite is obviously with my currency strength meter. That's something that I've developed myself. It's something that I was taught to develop, and something I developed into today. I keep a record of currency strength on a week by week basis. It really helps me to find trades and opportunities. But it's not the only thing out there. There are multiple currency strength meters around that are, I would say, very adequate at what they do. Obviously, this is something that I've developed myself, so it's something that I trust myself. Other things that I think you can include within this. So I've got currency strength meter here, COT reports. I do like the COT reports. We have to understand that COT reports is lagging. Okay, so you're only going to get information a week behind. But if you're a higher time frame trader and you're looking for when a trend could be potentially coming to an end on a particular market, then COT reports are very useful in that. We've discussed COT reports in our live streams quite a lot, so if you want to go check one of those out, you'll see the COT reports, especially when we look at things like gold. Recently we looked at pound futures and the fact that there was a potential top in that market. Other analysis that we can include seasonality. You can get all this information free, by the way. So this is from barchart.com, that is the COT reports, and this is from a place called Equity Clock, and that is all free information that you can get your hands on when looking at different information. But essentially, again, what do I use seasonality for? I use it to identify turning points in the market. If I just change my color of my pen here, you can see on pound futures here there are a few kind of highs and lows. This is what I'll be notifying in my analysis. So that is January, February, March. So I would be saying to myself, well, through March we can often see a little bit of a bottom in the pound price, and we usually find a top towards the end of April, that coinciding with potential COT analysis suggesting that pound is a little bit on the side of being a little bit overbought at the moment. Could be potentially a market top. And then you can actually see down here I've got pound is the orange line, has come into a reversal zone. So very much looking for pound downside essentially with my analysis overall right now. Going into this then, so this is a little bit of an added extra. This is just something that I do for myself. This is what I call the currency heat map, and it gives me ideas. So I take all that information, so I take the news information in, I take in the currency strength analysis into consideration. I then just plot it into this, and it gives me ideas of focus. So for this week, so this week is the 25th of March to the 29th of March. This is what I'm focusing on. So I'm focusing on pound downside, I'm focusing on dollar Swiss upside, I'm focusing on Aussie Swiss upside, I'm focusing on Euro Swiss upside. So I don't know what date or time you're watching this video. Maybe pause the video here, open your chart, have a little look at what those markets did for that week. Maybe you'll see that you could have had some trading opportunities at those points. But the final thing is going to be the conditions. So let's just quickly flick back here. So pound, you can see I'm bearish on the pound, it's bearish on the month, bearish on the week. So I'm looking for downside. So essentially, if that is the case, and all my analysis is telling me that I want to be pound, US dollar short, okay, what do I then need to see? Well, I need the conditions to be met in order to agree with my buyers. So you can see here I've got uptrend, downtrend, range. Well, if I want to be short pound, I don't want to see an uptrend, I don't want to see a range, I want to see the market in a downward trend. Because when you've got your conditions met, the next sort of stage is, can you apply a strategy? Now, most strategies that work particularly well in markets are trend based. So in a downward trend, I want to be looking for this kind of price movement with the lower highs and lower lows. And essentially my strategies are focused on when the market turns from being in a retracement phase into an impulsive phase. So essentially, does the market go from being against us to with us from a higher time frame point of view? So that's what my strategy includes. So I need the downtrend to be met. If it's not met, I need to walk away from that idea. And you can actually see that if I go back in here, you can see I've got euro pound looking for bullish opportunities. The month was bearish, but the week was bullish. And then I have a little momentum scale here. But most importantly, I try and identify what the daily trend and daily phase is doing. You can see I've identified it as a range, so there's no daily phase. So it's not included on my traffic light system to be able to trade this week, because it's not quite ready yet for my trending conditions, for my strategy to be implemented. But essentially, let's say I wanted to be long in the market. So I know that I wanted to be long dollar Swiss. Actually, I wanted to be long dollar Swiss this week. So I'm looking for uptrends. So I'm looking to see, is the market moving higher highs, higher lows? And if it is, I'm trying to identify those turning points in the market where I can be a buyer. Like I said, pound is bearish, so I want to be looking for those kind of continuations to the downside there. Range markets, now range markets can be useful. I quite like the idea of trading ranges because there are two defined points of interest that you can work with. But like I said, my strategies are more based around trend, so that is something that I would identify. You know, if I saw that two currencies were strong, I could use that as an advantage for trying to trade a range. So yeah, that's something that you could also look into if that's something you want to do. But that's how I would build my Forex watch list. I would identify the news for the week. I'd identify strength and weakness in some way away from the charts, and then the conditions. That's when your charting work comes into it. Identify support and resistance points, identify the conditions in the market. Does it match up with your bias? Hopefully that makes sense. If you want me to give any more information, then please feel free to drop a comment down below, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you in the next one.